So the G1 Climax 31 tournament tables have been announced. Blocks have been announced. And honestly, this is on paper, a dud tournament. Several of these choices to be in the tournament are stupid and have no merit to the logic of being put in there. Let's run over the guys I don't have a problem with being in it. In the A block, that would be Kota Ibushi, Tetsuya Naito, IWGP World Heavyweight Champ Shingo Takagi, co-holder of the IWGP World Heavyweight Tag Championship, Zack Sabre Jr., Toru Yano, co-holder of the Never Openweight 6-man titles, Tomohiro Ishii, Kenta, and making their debuts, Tonga Loa and the Great Okan. In the B block, I don't have a problem with Sonata, Taichi, co-holder of the Never Openweight 6-man tag titles, Hiroki Goto, Jeff Cobb, Tama Tonga, Kazuchika Okada, or IWGP Heavyweight Champ Hiroshi Tanahashi. And maybe not so much Evil. But here are the three I do have a bit of a bone to pick with. These three are Yujiro Takahashi, co-holder of the Never Openweight 6-man tag titles, Yoshihashi, and making his debut in the G1, Chase Owens. But what has brought this about? It's simple. I blame this lackluster card not so much on New Japan, but the guy they listen to, who at the top of the political pecking order in Japan, Yoshihide Suga, the Prime Minister. For the past year and a half, because of him, New Japan and All Japan, Noah, Stardom, Big Japan, actually every Japanese wrestling promotion has basically been put under these BS state of emergency style requisites, i.e. 5 to 6 match cards per show, limited capacity, masking up, and social distancing in crowds. Making it worse now is the refs have to be masked up. And that is what's going to kill this G1. The fact that there's so few matches to build up backstories for going into the tournament, going into and out of tournament matchups. In addition to the fact that some of the heavy hitters from last year's tournament, Jay White, Minoru Suzuki, Juice Robinson, and Will Ospreay, are skipping the G1 because in the cases of Ospreay and Suzuki, they're going to be doing a lot of stuff here in the States. All four of them are going to be doing stuff here in the States. With White and Juice mixing up in between New Japan Strong and Impact, and Will and Minoru sticking to New Japan Strong and or various other promotions across the country, respectively. For Will and Minoru, respectively. I really thought logic would dictate that when Will was well enough, he would come back and participate in G131 to get a crack at what he claims he never lost. Not basically set himself up to be the final boss in Yokohama on January 8th at Wrestle Kingdom 16 Night 3. Because that's the way I see this gets resolved now. Whoever wins the tournament not only has to face Shingo on January the 4th or the 5th, whichever day they pick, but also they gotta face Ospreay on January 8th to decide who truly is the undisputed IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. This has gone on long enough, if you ask me. This crap with multi-night Wrestle Kingdoms. I'm hoping that for Wrestle Kingdom 17, when certain elements of a certain catastrophe that's basically plagued the globe for the past year and a half are exposed as fraudulent, we get back to normal. The sooner that happens, the better. But getting back on track. There are a lot of matchup probabilities I'm looking forward to in the A block. Naito against Shingo, Ibushi against Shingo, Shingo against Ishii, Shingo against Kenta, Okada against Shingo, Loa against Kenta, Kenta against Yujiro, Loa against Kenta. And ZSJ against Shingo. In the A block, Okada-tan is a gimme, as is Sonata against either one of those two. And when Sonata against Cobb. Taichi against Evil. But the one I'm looking forward to the most in that match, in that block, is Tama Tonga against Evil. Why? Because I think it's time Tama Tonga teaches Evil the pecking order of the Bullet Club. Want to know what the pecking order is, Watanabe-san? I'll tell you. It goes you and the rest of the House of Torture, maggots. Ishimori, Gato, Jado, and Chase as the dirt. Ishimori and ALP as the worms inside of the dirt. God and Hikuleo as Fale Stool. Switchblade as Kami. And then Fale as Popo. That is the pecking order. That is the pecking order of the Bullet Club. Any questions? Because there's one thing that Tama Tonga don't like, it's offshoots of the Bullet Club. He didn't like it with the Elite, and while he may be a little more tolerant of it with the House of Torture, once it gets to that certain point where Evil tries to undermine Switchblade, then he's gonna act. As for who wins G1 31, I'm not going to make a pick this time around. As for the finals, I'm hoping it's Ibushi and Sonata again, but worst case scenario, it's Ibushi and Evil. And this time, the House of Torture allows Evil to ensure Ibushi does not win his third straight G1 Climax. But again, this is a scenario I'm hoping that does not happen. And since John and Ashton are going to skip every match Evil's in the main event of, and to be honest, I wouldn't blame those politically charged boneheads. Should Evil lose? If Evil wins, whatever. But if he loses the G1, I want to see Jay White come back and basically scold Evil for even thinking he can undermine him again. Keep in mind, last year at Power Struggle, White screwed Evil out of winning the double title. Well, after Jay White stole the briefcase from Ibushi earlier in that night to get the January 5th title match. And therein lies my point. I would prefer to see Sonata win the G1. Though, Naito winning it wouldn't be a bad probability either. Because, let's face it, 2021 has been a year where Naito has basically lost his swagger. He's the leader of Los Ingobernables de Japón, even though they view themselves as equals. But yet, it's Shingo, his best friend, his old sparring partner when they trained under Animal Hamaguchi, who's got the gold around his waist. Is there a bit of jealousy bubbling up within Tetsuya Naito? It's probable. What about Okada? He needs this win to prove he's still the ace of New Japan. He needs to win the G1 just to get back in the hunt, prove he's still got it. The past couple of, this is the long, I've calculated, and this is the longest he's gone without the biggest prize around his waist, in the company around his waist. It's been probably over 600 days since he was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. And he squandered that opportunity to get it back on his waist at Dominion this past June. Because we all know what record Okada is trying to break now. Tanahashi's record for most reigns as the top dog in the company, which Tanahashi holds at 8. Now, I know this title means that history is wiped out and we start over on a clean slate. I get that. But that said, you can't get rid of history. You just do, you're dooming yourself. How are things going to pan out this year? Who knows? I've got Ibushi and Naito winning the A block, and Evil and Sonata as my picks to win the B block. Simple as that. Chase is the cannon fodder. He's not going to win a match in the tournament. And I see Loa and Okan winning about 3, maybe 4 matches each in their debuts. That's all I got for tonight. Leave a comment, smash the like, share the video, and sub to the channel. Mets2128 signing out. Goodbye, and good night. Bang.